Good evening, everyone. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, I like to invite the speaker, Mr. Sanjay Kumar Rathour, who will speak about impact of climate change in agriculture and its mitigation. I now request the speaker to begin. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, when and all present here. I am Sanjay Rathour, student of M.Sc. Agronomy. Today, I am going to deliver a presentation on impact of climate change and its mitigation in agriculture. This is the way through of my presentation. We will start from climate change. So, first of all, talk about what is climate change. So, climate change basically is the long-term change in average weather pattern, mainly in terms of temperature, precipitation, wind patterns, which defines the Earth's local, regional, and global climate. And if we see climate change, uh, which happened throughout the history of the Earth since its beginning, Earth has gone various natural changes in climate, mainly due to asteroidal heat, climate, volcanic eruption, Earth's orbit, and solar radiation. But the current climate change, which is happening due to the human activities, is its rate is very fast. Uh, these are the list of things which have the potential to destroy the life on the planet Earth, and climate change is considered one of them. Climate change, myth or reality, like many social events, many people think that it is a natural phenomena and we don't need to worry about it, but it's in reality. Uh, in favor of myth, they don't give any valid statement or proof to favor their statement, but in favor of reality, there are many proofs. Or like global temperature is rising. Currently, the global temperature is 1.1 degrees Celsius warmer. It is an average, global Earth surface average, that is 1.1 degree warmer than before, and it is predicted that it will be 1.5 degrees Celsius warmer uh, by the end of this decade, and it will be around 2.5 to 3 or 5, maybe up to 5 or more degree Celsius warmer up to by the end of this century. Anthropogenic greenhouse gases are rising, mainly like carbon dioxide, which and its concentration is about 420 ppm at present, and it was below 300 before the industrial era. And methane, the concentration of methane is like 1896 parts per billion, and nitrous oxides concentration is about 334 parts per billion. Sea level is rising. Since last decade, our this sea level has risen about 97 mm, and this is mainly due to melting of glaciers. Oceanic acidification is increasing. This is mainly because of ocean has absorbed 1/3 of carbon dioxide that is emitted by human activities, and mainly excessive use of nitrogen and phosphorus fertilizers, which is lost to the sea from cultivated field, and this increases the algal growth in ocean. And when this algae decomposes, it releases carbonic acid, carbon dioxide, and increases the acidification within the ocean and affects the ocean life. Then frequency of extreme weather events are increasing, like thunderstorms, heat waves, cold waves, forest fires. Its frequency is increasing. Their frequency, like in natural system, it was very less frequent, but due to climate change, you can observe its frequency is increasing year after year. Like last year, heat wave occurred in Punjab region, and due to this, 25 to 35% uh, wheat yield were reduced. And now this year, in the same region, thunderstorm occurred and like intensive rainfall occurred in Punjab region, and again wheat yield was affected. Then its frequency, you can see, is increasing. Then loss of biodiversity from this mainly after industrial evolution, many species of plants and animals have been lost. Then ozone layer is depleting. The first depletion of layer or ozone layer hole were observed in 1985, and it was largest uh, in 2000. That was around 28.4 million square kilometer, and now it is at present around 24 million square kilometer. There is slight reduction in ozone layer depletion just because of banning in chlorinated substances, which are major causes of ozone layer depletion. Then Antarctic ice shelf mass loss and ice sheets are shrinking due to rising temperature. Then major causes of climate change. We all know climate has changed, or we can say its rate of change is increased after the industrial revolution, and rapid urbanization is also the one of the cause. Cutting down forest is the main cause. Transportation through vehicles and aviation. Then agriculture also and allied sector. Agriculture and allied sector also contributes about 1/4 of total global greenhouse gases. Then consumption of natural resources, then generating power through coals, and many other factors are there. If we talk about greenhouse gases, then there are three major gases. First one is carbon dioxide, followed by methane and nitrous oxide. Then current level of these three gases I have discussed. And if we talk about global warming potential of methane and nitrous oxide compared to carbon dioxide, then methane has 72 times uh, more global warming potential compared to carbon dioxide after 20 years. And the global warming potential of nitrous oxide is 289 times more compared to carbon dioxide after 20 years. And if we talk about highest, then sulfur hexafluoride has the uh, higher global warming potential, that is 32,600 after 500 years compared to carbon dioxide. Okay. Then if we talk about emission of greenhouse gases in agriculture, then globally agriculture contributes 10 to 12%. And if we talk about agriculture and allied sector, then it will be around one fourth, 24 to 25% of total greenhouse gases, and it is equivalent to 9.3 gigaton carbon dioxide equivalent. Then the agriculture sector from our country contributes about 14% of greenhouse gases emission, and mainly three gases are there, that is carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. And their emission from 1970, we know that green revolution was started from 1966 and onwards, and the greenhouse gas emission has been just doubled. And if we talk about field crops, then lowland rice emits the largest amount of greenhouse gases, followed by sugarcane, potato, and wheat. This is the trend of uh, regional and global emission due to agriculture. In this, Asia contributes the highest amount of greenhouse gas emission, followed by South America and Africa. If you talk about top 10 countries in agriculture field, then India and China are the largest producer or emitter of greenhouse gases, followed by Brazil and USA. Then, if we talk about overall sector, then China is the largest emitter of greenhouse gases, followed by USA, Eastern Union, and India. India comes in fourth. Then global warming potential of different crops in India. Then lowland rice mainly contributes highest amount of greenhouse gas emission, followed by sugarcane, potato, and wheat. And trends, if we talk about trends of greenhouse gas emission from Indian agriculture, then the emission per hectare of greenhouse gases is increased. It is just doubled, and emission per ton of food grain is slightly decreased. Then we global warming potential from rice cultivation has been reported to be 2.7 and 5.7 times greater than that of maize and wheat system, respectively. Greenhouse gases emission from paddy. Okay. Paddy contributes 9 to 11% agricultural greenhouse gas emission, and it is one of the most important source of anthropogenic greenhouse gas emission, and that is mainly nitrous oxide, methane, carbon dioxide. Uh, if you look at paddy plant, then paddy plant as such do not produce methane gas, but cultivation method uh, favors or we can say make suitable environment for methane to get emitted from rice field. Paddy actually provides uh, the to get way for methane gas to get emitted from uh, submerged rice field, and it is emitted mainly through vascular system and parenchymatous tissue from which methane gas is emitted. If we talk about nitrous oxide, then it is emitted from soil, and this is it happens mainly through nitrous oxide and denitrification process. Organic fertilizer also contributes about one fourth of total nitrous oxide emission, and 75% or three-fourths of nitrous oxide emission is mainly due to chemical fertilizer application of nitrogen. Then carbon dioxide is mainly emitted by crop residue burning and use of petrol and diesel operated agricultural machineries, then crop respiration. This is the mechanism of methane gas emission. Under submerged rice condition, the um, anaerobic decomposition of organic matter proceeds, and uh, what should I say? Mm, okay, actually, I am forgetting the term. Redox potential. The redox potential is less, which is negative, or we can say it is around minus 150, below minus 150 volt, and in this environment, anaerobic decomposition of organic matter occurs, and it is mainly due to methanogen bacteria, which promotes the release of or emission of or, this methane gas. Then, under submerged condition, methane gas mainly gets emitted into environment by the process of ebullition in the form of bubbles and through diffusion due to concentration gradient, and through rice plant through vascular system and parenchymatous tissue. Then, if we see the mechanism of nitrous oxide emission, then when we apply nitrogenous fertilizer, then ammonification occurs, then followed by nitrification. Uh, After this nitrification, nitrate form of nitrogen is formed, and plant actually utilizes only required amount of um, this nitrate, and extra amount of nitrate which is applied by the farmer is denitrified through denitrification bacteria, and it is converted into nitrous oxide and emitted into environment. This also this nitrate also may lost to the water bodies and may cause eutrophication. Then this is the physical and socio-economic impacts of climate change on agriculture. If we talk about elevated CO2 or increased level of CO2, carbon dioxide, then in some crops like C3, the crop yield may increased just because of CO2 fertilization. But in most of the crops like C4, the yield will decreased. And if we talk about elevated temperature, then it will increase respiration rate, and when the respiration will increase, then it will decline the accumulation of photosynthetes, and ultimately the yield will increase. Actually, uh, less time I will not explain these impacts in detail. Uh, These are some recent examples of uh, climate change and, and its losses in agriculture. Like between 2016 to 2021, about 36 million hectare of crop field has been lost just because of intensive rainfall. Then impact of heat wave on wheat, maize, and chickpea in the states of Punjab, MP, and actually mainly in central region of India and northwestern plain of India. In wheat, 25 to 35% reduction in yield were observed. In chickpea, there were 20 up to 20% reduction in yield was observed. In maize, attack of fall armyworm was more, and reduction in yield up to 80% in maize was observed. Then crops on 13 lakh hectare hit due to untimely heavy rains and hailstorm in Punjab. And in 50,000 hectare land, there were 75 to 100% loss, crop loss were there. And for this, farmers were only getting 15,000 per acre for its relief, which is very low. And IMD has carried an analysis in 29 states and union territories of India. Actually, it is now 28 states. India has IMD has reported that in states of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Meghalaya, Himachal Pradesh, and Arunachal Pradesh, and Nagaland also. Uh, they have reported that significant decrease in southwest monsoon rainfall during the recent 30 years. And in other states, there were no significant decrease in or change in southwest monsoon, but these states also can face in upcoming years due to climate change. And SkyMed, a weather forecasting is a private weather forecasting agency, has predicted that India will receive below normal monsoon rainfall this year, which may result in loss, crop loss on mainly in paddy and uh, in Rabi mainly in wheat. If we talk about mitigation, then mitigation refers mainly actions taken to reduce the or prevent the emission of greenhouse gases which are causing climate change. But the adaptation, we can say it is current methods which helps or these are actions which are taken to minimize the impact of climate change. If we compare in mitigation and adaptation, then mitigation is more important compared to adaptation because mitigation of greenhouse gases is important, because if we will not mitigate the greenhouse gases, then climate change will keep happening. And up to what level we will adapt the methods, then it is better to mitigate the greenhouse gases compared to adapt or inventing the adaptation technologies. Then techniques to mitigate climate change, like better crop management practices. I will talk about them in detail later. Better management crop practices like better nutrient management, conservation tillage, soil carbon management strategies, then precision farming, efficient use of machineries, then use of renewable sources of energies, then crop rotation and crop residue management are the best alternatives, or you can say agro techniques to mitigate the climate change. Then strategies to mitigate carbon dioxide. Under rice wheat cropping system, the residue which are generated after harvesting, the straw can be used as compost. Then mechanized residue collector can be used to collect them instead of burning. Then making biochar is also help us to mitigate the carbon dioxide oxide emission. Then crop residue management and carbon sequestration into the soil is the best way to capture the carbon dioxide or sequester the carbon dioxide. And there is agroforestry system in carbon sequestration, uh, like Among various agroforestry systems, agri-silviculture system are widely practiced and reported to store carbon dioxide ranging from 0.87 to 8.92 megagram per hectare per year, and it may increased by changing the cultivation practices, soil type, environment, and adopting best agro or you can say suitable agroforestry system. Uh, According to the report of Chavan et al. In 2020, they have reported that eucalyptus-based system and poplar-based system have the potential of sequestering the carbon at a rate of 12.7 and 10.3 megagram per hectare per year, respectively. So, uh, we can say agroforestry system in farming and reforestation in other than farming sector is can play important role in sequestering and mitigating the greenhouse gases. Then liquid tree, it is the very recent technology developed by Serbian scientist Dr. Ivan, and mainly they use microalgae in chamber with nutrient solution, and they have reported that one chamber is capable of uh, sequestering carbon or absorbing carbon. Compared to tree, it is 10 to 50 times more efficient, and the algae produced in these chambers can be utilized as a biofertilizer in agriculture, and it requires very less space, so it can be easily installed in populated cities where we cannot like transplant trees. Then it according to me it could be best alternative or best way to sequester the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. More research is needed because it is recently developed, and strategies to mitigate nitrous oxide strategies like we can improve nitrogen use efficiency mainly through use of leaf color charts and site specific nutrient management, slow release nitrogen fertilizers such as neem coated urea, sulfur coated urea, polymer coated urea, then placement of fertilizer at right amount, at right time, at right place, and with right method. Also, use of nitrification inhibitor, urease inhibitor can help us to mitigate the nitrous oxide emission from field or agriculture. Use of nano fertilizers and foliar spray can also help us to mitigate the nitrous oxide emission. Then improved irrigation management also can help to mitigate the nitrous oxide emission. Then mitigating methane emission from lowland rice. Then as I have told that rice plant do not create methane gas. It is cultivation method which creates the environment for methane to get emitted into environment. Methods like puddle or lowland or submerged rice uh, creates this kind of this type of environment, whereas aerobic rice, direct seeded rice, then SRI method of rice, then use of well decomposed manure, drip irrigation method in rice, and alternate wetting and drying method in rice eliminates the submergence of rice and ultimately uh, mitigates the emission of methane. Then here is some research finding which shows that mitigation is possible under rice field or under emission of this nitrous oxide can be reduced by use of different kind of methods and nitrogenous fertilizer. First report according Thanakkan and Selvaraj in 2020 conducted an experiment on methane and nitrous oxide emission under different rice cultivation system. They have reported that aerobic rice emits less amount of methane gas compared to wet seeded rice, and nitrous oxide emission is actually nitrous oxide emission is much higher in anaerobic rice cultivation method, but this can be reduced by using nitrous oxide inhibitors. So actually in this experiment they didn't use any nitrous oxide nitrogen inhibitor. That's why nitrous oxide inhibition from their field was more. But adopting SRI method or drip irrigation method by using with nitrous oxide inhibitor can help us to mitigate the nitrous oxide emission, and also this um,
Mr. Sanjay, you are in mute.
yes ma'am.
Yeah.
Then this is the second research finding. In this, Parthaswamy and co-workers in 2020 conducted an experiment on effect of drip irrigation system on cumulative methane emission and carbon dioxide equivalent. Okay. Then here SDI is subsurface drip irrigation and DI is drip irrigation method. Here they found that adopting subsurface drip irrigation method can help to mitigate the emission of methane gas. And you can see in first treatment, that is surface drip irrigation plus 1 liter per hour drip discharge uh, drip uh, drip rate of emitters. Okay. In this treatment, they have found that there is lowest emission of methane compared to the conventional method. Also, uh, Malayalan and co-workers in 2016 have experimented on impact of nitrogen fertilizers on methane emissions from flooded rice, and they have reported that use of ammonium sulfate can help or can reduce 21.6% emission of nitrous oxide and methane compared to urea. Here urea actually when we apply urea, then it increases the concentration of this ammonium ions in soil, and this ammonia has similar structure with methane, and due to similar structure this methanotrophs which reduces the emission of methane uh, joins with actually attached with attached with this net methane. Okay, then in case of ammonium sulfate, sulfur increases the population of this methanotroph bacteria, and also increases the population of sulfur reducing bacteria. Okay, which reduces the methanogen population in soil, and ultimately helps to reduce the emission of methane gas. So here we can say that use of sulfur fertilizer with urea or with other fertilizers can help to mitigate the methane gas emission. And if we talk about dur duration of varieties, this is the actually research of Bhattacharya and co-workers. They have experimented on different duration rice varieties, different varieties, and their duration was different. Like short duration variety emits less amount of this methane, just because of in short duration variety the Erenchyma pore count is less compared to the long duration variety. And as we have seen in mechanism of methane gas emission, the emission of methane mainly happens through Erenchyma pores or Erenchyma tissue. Then if the variety will have more number of pore count of this Erenchyma, then emission of methane will be more. So if we can reduce this pore count in rice cultivar, then emission of methane will be less compared to the duration variety which have this more parenchyma pore count. And Dawamani and its co-worker in 2019 conducted an experiment on the effect of methanotropes on methane emission in paddy. They have reported that use of this methanotrop at the rate of 6.25 kg per hectare uh, reduced the methane gas emission in both the seasons of rice in Kharif and Rabi season. So using methanotrop can also help us to mitigate the methane emission from rice field. Then Yang and co-worker have experimented on methane emission responding to azolla inoculation. Here they have used mid-season drainage also and azolla with nitrogen fertilizer. They have reported that emission of methane by using mid-season drainage, azolla and nitrogen fertilizer emitted lowest amount of this methane compared to the treatment where they didn't use azolla and they use continuous flooding method. So here we can see azolla also can help us to mitigate the methane gas emission, and reason being azolla releases the oxygen into the submerged soil, and this oxygen increases the redox potential. Okay, and we know if the redox potential will be higher, then population of this methanol bacteria will be less and emission of methane also will be less. Then Datta and co-worker in 2014 conducted an experiment on organic effect of organic nitrification inhibitor on nitrous oxide emission in paddy. They have reported that nitrous oxide emission resulted in less emission of methane, mainly resulted in less emission of methane compared to DCD and Karanjin. Then Yachun and co-worker in 2012 conducted an experiment on mitigation of nitrous oxide emission from paddy soil under conventional tillage system and no-till system. They have reported that in both method, by using nitrous oxide inhibitors, we can mitigate the emission of this nitrous oxide. Then Singh and co-workers in 2020 conducted an experiment on precision nitrogen management on grain yield and nitrous oxide emission. They have reported that LCC value less than 4.5 uh, reduced the total nitrogen application in soil and also reduced the emission of nitrous oxide. They have reported that in different type of soil like silty and sandy soil. In sandy soil, they have reported less emission of nitrous oxide compared to the silty one. In silty, actually the organic matter content is more, water holding capacity is more, so the population of methanogen bacteria will be more in case of silty soil. Then, sorry, methanogen I'm talking. Denitrification bacteria population will be more in case of silty soil, which will help in nitrous oxide emission. Then we can see this soil texture also helps in uh, nitrous oxide emission. Then Mohanty et al., or you can say co-worker, in 2012 conducted an experiment in IIR and New Delhi, and they have also reported that LCC value less than 4 can help us to mitigate the nitrous oxide emission. Okay. Then conclusion, like climate change is a reality, and agriculture is likely to suffer losses in long run due to uh, extreme weather events. And in paddy cultivation, methane and nitrous oxide emission can be reduced by various methods, which I have mentioned. And crop rotation can help to reduce overall methane emission of methane and nitrous oxide. Then adaptation strategy can help us to minimize negative impacts to some extent, whereas mitigation can help to reduce the severity of climate change in long run. That's why mitigation is more important compared to adaptation. Overall development and awareness among the farmers, then citizens and researchers also is needed to mitigate this greenhouse gas emission. Then future line of work is like innovation of agricultural practices, collaboration and knowledge sharing between the different countries, researchers, and policy interventions by the politicians, and then research institutes are needed. Then technology interventions, sustainable land management is also can help us to mitigate this greenhouse gas emission from energy sector, which is major contributor of this methane, greenhouse gas emission, and as well as in agriculture. Thank you all. Okay, if someone has query, then please you can ask. Actually, we are running
Um,
out of time.
yeah. Thank you, Mr. Sanjay, for the detailed presentation. Now I'll quickly take up some questions. So the first question is, how has climate change affected traditional farming practices? And you can stop sharing the screen, please.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. If you're okay, you can on your camera.
Okay. Okay. Ma'am, actually, this climate change is a global problem. Okay, and its impact will be uh, on both, like in conventional or traditional methods also, and on modern methods also, because when temperature will increase, then carbon dioxide will increase, then none of the method will be suitable for adapting or mitigating this climate change. So traditional system actually is affected more compared to this modern methods.
Okay. Next question. Um, what are the most pressing climate change issues impacting agriculture in our region?
Uh, like in terms of crop or sector.
Uh, a crop.
Okay, if we talk about crop, like it will affect all the crops, but we can see the major crops are wheat and rice. Okay, then these two crops has affected more compared to the others. Last year we can see 25 to 35% reduction were observed, or in case of heat, due to the terminal heat stress, which happened mainly due to the rise in temperature during the this duff stage or grain filling stage in wheat. And in case of rice, due to the shortage of water and delay in onset of monsoon can affect the this rice yield also. And rice and wheat are considered as major food, or we can say staple food in our country. And these two crops may get affected later. And predictions also shows that uh, 15 to 30% by, or even more by 2050, there is reduction in wheat and rice. So it will be better in case in case of adaptation. We can change our food habits, like we can shift to maize compared to this rice, because rice also utilizes lots of water, lots of higher amount of water for its production. And then uh, in case of wheat, it also requires at least 5 to 6 irrigation for better production. Then in upcoming years, moisture availability will be the major concern. So if we can change our food habit, then it will be best alternative in case of stable food.
Okay. Next question is, how can climate change lead to an increase in pest and disease incidents in farming?
Okay, actually, this is the good question. Actually, uh, in when temperature rises, then relative humidity also increases. Then this may increase the fungal incidence of fungal diseases, insect and insect incidence. Then mm, this fungal disease incidence. And uh, many research has indicated or shown that with increasing temperature, carbon dioxide level, and then relative humidity, the occurrence of mainly fungal diseases and insect attack, then this occurrence of weeds, which is considered as pest, its population severity and controlling measures will be reduced in terms like which what should I say, the currently available methods, control measures in terms of controlling pest, weeds, insects, and this fungal diseases will not be helpful in controlling if there will be occurrence of new races of pathogens. Then ultimately it will reduce the crop yield. Like if we talk about an example, then in 1992 there were first occurrence or case of this herbicide resistant was in 1992 in rice, this wheat crop against the Felis minor. Actually, Felis minor has developed the herbicide resistant against this isoproteron, and at that time only isoproteron was available in the market to control this Felis minor. Then reduction in wheat was observed at that time. So, like climate change will increase the occurrence of new races of pathogens, or you can say pest. Then, like we don't know which type of pest will occur in upcoming years. Then it will cause severe losses in agriculture sector. Like in case of corona, there were like we don't know, we didn't know the cure of corona in beginning of the corona incidents. No? Then lots of deaths were occurred. No? Then later on we have researched and found the medicines and vaccines, and we got control in that corona virus. Okay. Then similar cases in farming has been seen and will be seen in upcoming years. Then like it is better to mitigate the climate change, like rather than waiting for the occurrence of these new races of pathogens. Okay, next question.
Okay. Could you elaborate on the role of technology in mitigating the impact of climate change on agriculture?
Okay, uh, actually technology will play major role because there is very few methods available traditionally which are helpful in mitigating the this climate change or emission of greenhouse gases, like use of renewable source of energies by like wind energies, then solar energies. In case of farming we can use solar pumps. Then electricity generated through this solar panel will be helpful uh, compared to using this electricity generated by burning coals. Then efficient use of agricultural machineries which utilizes less amount of petroleum. Then methods like we have seen rice cultivation method, then application of this nitrification inhibitors, then using leaf color charts and site specific nutrient management. Precision farming is also very helpful in mitigating this greenhouse gas emission. Then intervention of or involvement of technology is very much important in case of mitigating this greenhouse gas emission.
Okay. Next question is, what changes can farmers make to adapt their agriculture practices to a changing climate?
Okay, actually Farmers actually, if we see the reality, farmers actually uses the suitable method which are available and actually methods which is known by him. Okay, then actually is awareness will play a major important role. If like we will aware the farmers about the climate change, and if we will demonstrate them, or we will show them these methods can helpful to mitigate the greenhouse gases emission, then it will be helpful, because like in case of farmers and in case of industrialists, they mainly work for profit, and they don't care about this climate change or greenhouse gas emission. Then it will be better to aware them, and it is better to implement some government policies so that we can mitigate the climate change or this emission of greenhouse gases. Actually, currently, most of the industrialists or politicians mainly working on profit, and they are just exploiting the natural resources which are limited, and one day it will be exhausted from the nature. So it is major concern. If the humans or farmers or industrialists will work for profit, then it will be difficult to mitigate the climate change. Maybe in future, after a few decades or maybe century, we will work for the nature or mitigating this climate change, because during upcoming years, the impact of climate change will be more, its frequency will be increased. Then maybe humans will realize that it is a major concern, and they will work for it.
Okay. I'll take up one or two more questions. Can you discuss the potential of sustainable or regenerative farming in mitigating climate change effects?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, both have the potential of mitigating this greenhouse gases. These are one of the methods by which we can mitigate the greenhouse gases, but it is not enough. Like major contributor of greenhouse gases are energy sector or industries. Mitigating them is more important. Like mangrove forest, they also emit greenhouse gases, mainly methane gas, but we cannot cut them down. Okay, but its contribution is less, and it is natural. The main focus should be on reducing the emission from human humans, like what should I say, mm, human activities which are like increasing the or emitting more greenhouse gas emission, like industries and energy sectors, then transportation sectors. And actually agriculture we can consider is natural, because it is greenhouse gas concentration in our atmosphere or in our climate up to a optimum concentration, it is necessary to maintain the global temperature. Okay. Like if we talk about concentration of methane gas, then 300 to 350, it is optimum. Actually, it should be 300 to 400. Then it will be increased. Then it will also increase the temperature. Then it will be uh, like its impact will be dangerous for all of us. Then greenhouse gas emission uh, at certain rates is necessary, which is uh, greenhouse gases which are currently like before, which were the before this industrial revolution, like it was below 300 ppm in case of carbon dioxide. Then greenhouse gas, maintaining greenhouse gases emission uh, is necessary, is needed to maintain this global temperature. But if will like increase, then it will be harmful for all of us. And uh, like reduction of this greenhouse gas from this energy sector is important compared to agriculture sector, because agriculture sector contributes food for all of us. and which is necessary. And this energy sector also contributes like major things, but they don't supply us food. So we can, it is better to mm, reduce the greenhouse gas emission from energy sector compared to the agriculture. So we should focus on more in energy sector compared to the agriculture one.
We'll take up the last question. How
Yeah,
might climate change alter the nutritional quality of our crops?
okay. Mm, okay. Actually, if we talk about the climate change also impacts the nutritional quality. If you see the example, like with increasing temperature, the mineralization rate of nitrogen, applied nitrogen, is more compared to the ambient temperature or normal temperature or optimum temperature. And this increased temperature increases the mineralization, and this also increases the denitrification losses. Then the losses will be more in case of nitrogen. Then there will be less availability of nitrogen for plant uptake. And then we know that nitrogen helps or nitrogen is important for protein synthesis and other things. Then the quantity of or concentration of protein will be less in case of grains. This is the one example of nitrogen. There are many examples. Like it will also uh, decrease the concentration of photosynthetes. Then ultimately the concentration or quality and quantity of agricultural produce and then nutritive value will reduce. Actually, I have given only one example. There are many examples. So
Okay. Okay, Mr. Sanjay. So now we have come to end of question round. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank you for the detailed presentation and answering all the questions. And we also like to thank all the participants for joining this meeting. The meeting will now be closed.
okay, thank you all, and thanks to uh, team for giving me opportunity to deliver my presentation. Thank you all.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
Okay, I can leave the meeting now, ma'am.
Yes, you can leave.
Yeah.